Good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder, and this is BRN AM for Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. And here are our top stories: avoiding senioritis and successfully preparing for the college experience. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Joshua Davis. He's Communications Manager for the Syracuse University Project Advance. Josh, thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Hey, Jeff. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to see you as always. So Josh, let's talk about this, because I don't have any children, but there are plenty of parents out there who are going in the second semester. We're coming to the end of the first semester, but we're already into second semester. And that senioritis might be slipping in. And we all kind of went through this where you may be locked into a school and you're kind of coasting. But you and the folks at Syracuse University have a program that's been around for decades that has successfully helped kids, high schoolers transition to college. What can you tell us here?
Yeah, that's a great point, Jeff. I think that when kids get to the second semester of their senior year, they've often they're finished their applications, they're waiting for acceptance letters, and they kind of, like you said, they coast to the end of their senior year. Project Advance was started in the hopes of helping those kids stay involved and intense in their academic rigor. And so by offering them college level classes, the hope was that they would stay engaged in school and prepare for college.
Yeah, and look, if I'm a parent and I'm thinking about how do I maximize the value of a college education, whether it's a 2-year school or a 4-year school, right? How do I get my child, my son or daughter who's going off, to be prepared for the rigors? Because there is a step up. Let's be honest. There's a step up, especially if you're going to a big school like a Syracuse University. That's a very large school. And say you're from a small town or a smaller school, getting the academics up to par and being able to handle not only the rigors of the academics, but also the social aspects, I would imagine a big part of the project.
Well, we consider ourselves a bridge from the high school to the college. So by taking a college level class in high school, kids are able to not just experience things like reading a syllabus or learn better time management, but the hope is that they will, by engaging in a high level, rigorous actual college course in high school, that when they get on the college campus, the other things don't overwhelm them so much, and they're used to the rigor, and that they can really be prepared for college learning.
And the key here is that you actually get college credit. So give us a little bit of in-depth. I know you and I talked about this last week outside the studio, but I think for our audience, you actually teach the high school teachers that the kids are using to the kids have classes with, to actually teach these accredited courses. I mean, let's talk a little more about that.
Sure. So concurrent enrollment, it's sometimes called dual enrollment also, is a program where high school kids take the high school class and they concurrently earn credit for college. So if a student takes U.S. history through us in their high school, they earn the U.S. history credit for their high school, but they can also earn the college credit. Now, we do that by an intense training program where we train the high school teacher on campus for a week in the summer, and then they are certified to teach the Syracuse University course in their high school. And we have other checks and balances in place where they have to teachers have to attend a seminar. We do class visits to ensure that the rigor is being upheld in the high school. There is an accrediting body for programs like ours. It's called NACEP, NACEP.org, if you wanted to check that out. So I would encourage parents, as these programs kind of pop up around the country, to make sure that their program at their local high school is an accredited one. And
I want to get to the separate programs in a second, but if I'm a parent, and I'm just thinking about, I want to separate two issues. The first is the cost, right? You're able to get some college credits by sending your kid to high school basically and get some credits. But then the other part, and I think most important part of this, and going back to what we talked about early on in the segment, is the fact that you get preparation for what arguably can be a very difficult transition for people.
That's right. There are two benefits really for the student. One is, like you said, is the college credit. So you can save some money. So we charge a tuition for the kids if they want to take a Syracuse University course in high school, but it's much less than they would obviously if they took it on campus. So there is a way to save money for parents by signing up for some of these courses in high school. The kids can earn credits. But we like to say, like most of our students that take our classes only take 1 or 2 in high school because the rigor is, they're hard. They're hard classes. They're college classes. And if they're being taught correctly, a high school student really shouldn't be taking 6 or 7 college classes while they're in high school. So there is the benefit of the college credit, but we think the real benefit is in the preparation academically, like I said before, as that bridge from high school to college, because kids learn what it means to manage time for multiple papers, multiple projects, how to read a syllabus. Now at this point, with all the kids learning online, how to take a college class online and what the expectations are for college level learning.
And you bring up online, and how has that transition been, just given what's happening with COVID and the pandemic over the last 8, 9, 10 months going into 2021? Are you seeing enrollment continue in terms of SU, but also enrollment in Project Advance? I would imagine that kids are prepped and ready to take advantage of the virtual courses as well.
I think it was a challenge for everybody in the spring when it first happened. I think, we don't offer courses online generally, but since the high schools when they all moved to online learning in the spring, we all had to adjust very quickly. So we did make some concessions as far as if kids needed to drop the class after the regular drop date and things like that. But we've tried to provide as much support as we can to our teachers, who are really the strength of our program. So we give as much support to them as we can. We did not see a drop in enrollment for the fall because, again, if the course is being offered in the high school, then we're there to support it.
Yeah, and Josh, oftentimes on this show we talk about 529 college savings plans, which are a big part of funding college education in general. Can those funds be used towards these college level enrollment classes that are at a slightly lower tuition rate?
No, and there's been some discussion policy-wise. So programs like this have been popping up around the country. So again, when the questions start to go to DC and public policy is when the money starts getting involved. So there's been discussions around 529s. There's been discussions around allowing students to access Pell Grants early while they're in high school, but that ends up running out their clock. So they cannot do that. But again, programs like ours, we offer financial assistance for students that show need. The cost is already reduced from the on-campus cost, and other programs are free. Some of the community colleges offer the courses for free in their local high schools. So we work with a lot of high schools that might offer a couple of our classes, a couple of the local community college classes, a couple of AP classes, maybe another 4-year school too. So most high schools at this point have kind of a menu of courses that kind of fit whatever the students, either their budget or their interests are.
And Josh, last question for this segment. When it comes to SUPA, the Syracuse University Project Advance, are the affiliated high schools, those that you're partnering with, are they in the local area close to university, part of New York State, or could they be potentially outside of New York in other surrounding states, counties? So
when it started, it was just a couple of the local high schools, but now we've expanded into New York. We're in New York, New Jersey. We have a couple of schools in Michigan. We have schools in China. We have a school in Korea, Japan, Singapore, Dominican Republic. So it's multiple states and actually multiple countries now. A lot of this is dependent on each state's regulations as far as reciprocity, and I don't want to get too technical on the details, but we do offer in multiple states now.
Yeah, really interesting. Well, Josh, I want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about how you can make that transition easier. More with Josh Davis when we come back. Stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate copays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-924-3920. That's 1-800-924-3920.
Welcome back. We're talking to Josh Davis of Syracuse University's Project Advance. Josh, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is, I think, a lot of parents, this has been a really tough time for parents of high schoolers and little ones. So I think any opportunity they can have to improve the opportunities for their own children, I think they're going to look at this and say, hey, I need to look into this. But Josh, you mentioned there's a national accredited organization, and I want to talk about that because this is not, Syracuse is the oldest. I think it was founded in 1974, if I'm not mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong, this program. But there are programs, as you said, popping up all around the country. How do I, as a parent, if I'm interested, or parents, how do I look into what school and how do I get involved in this?
So I think I mentioned before that a lot of high schools will have kind of a menu of courses that their students can choose from. The National Alliance for Concurrent Enrollment Partnerships, NACEP, N-A-C-E-P, is an accrediting organization that evaluates programs based on, the goal is to replicate the class as closely as possible in the high school as it appears on the college campus, right? To really earn college credits, we want to make sure that the students are taking an actual college course. So this goes into, so the accrediting body checks your training program, your evaluation program, and so things like, are you doing professional development for your teachers? Are you doing class visits where the faculty member actually goes and physically visits the class to make sure that the course is being taught properly? We go above and beyond some of these things, and we do grade audits. So we make sure that high school teachers aren't inflating the grades. So we check, a high school biology teacher that's offering our course to make sure that, and compare it against the on-campus grades to make sure there isn't grade inflation going on. So there are a lot of checks that the national body will do. it's hard to get accredited. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of resources in your program as far as time. So not all programs are accredited, but that does go into some of the credit transferability after the student leaves high school. One of the things you want to get is you want your student to be able to transfer those credits into whatever school they end up going to. So making sure that the program is accredited is important.
And Josh, if I'm a parent and a student, when do I start this process? I mean, you're talking about senioritis, and that's typically second semester. I wasn't fortunate enough to get into college in first semester. I had to work my little rear end off to get in the second quarter of senior year. But when do parents and students typically start? Is it junior year? Is it sophomore year? When you're looking at colleges?
So we typically only offer our courses to seniors. We think that there is a certain amount of academic experience you need to have in order to take a college course at all. Now, we do have some courses that are open to juniors. For instance, in New York State, students take U.S. history their junior years, and U.S. history is one of our courses, so we allow juniors to take those. In extraordinary circumstances, we might, a sophomore can petition the faculty member to take a class. Now that's for super high level performing math students often, or science students. There are schools that will let freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors take college level classes. We do not allow that in general because we don't think most students are actually ready for that. But most high schools will publish in their course guide, they will have a list of the college courses that are available to the students in that high school, and when they're available to take. So I would start looking freshman year when kids are getting ready to get into high school, see what's available. Check the NACEP website to see if it's an accredited program, or just take them anyway. There's no harm in taking a class, even if you don't get credit for it eventually. There's no harm in taking a class that's going to challenge you.
I agree with you. I mean, I think challenging yourself is obviously a part of growing and evolving. And so if you do it as a junior or a freshman or whenever it's available to you, I think it makes a lot of sense. If you can get credit out of it, hey, more power to you. You're that much further along. Maybe you don't need to take college for 4 years. Maybe it's 3.5 years. So I think that kind of gets you on the road. Josh, in terms of, is there, alumni is a big alumni, whatever, alumni. I'm going to use every variant of the word. But is that a big part of, I know it's a big part of Syracuse University and other big universities as well. Is that a part of this program as well? Are there alumni that come back and say, hey, I was part of Project Advance, and because I was part of Project Advance, I was able to do X, Y, and Z, kind of a selling point, but also a kind of a mentorship opportunity?
We don't do a lot of alumni networking for our students. We had 12,000 students just last year. So we don't reach out to all these students. Only 4% or so of these students every year actually come to Syracuse University. So 96% of them actually go somewhere else and try to take those credits with them. We do have research and evaluation for our own program where we survey the students 1 year after they've taken the class and then 4 years after they've taken the class to see if they perceived a benefit. And we often get great feedback from students that they taking that class through us in high school help them prepare for college, help them succeed in college. We ask them whether they got credit or not. So 90% or so every year confirm that they got credit at the school that they ended up going to, because we can't guarantee that the school they end up going to is going to grant credit, because it's up to them. But yeah. But there's not an alumni network in that sense. But we do survey our previous students to see what the benefit was.
And I got to think the connectivity with parents too. Parents talking to each other and say, my son or daughter did this program, and it might benefit. That sense of community really important. I know, when I was going to school, my parents talked to other parents in the community to get some ideas. I would imagine that's, part of the kind of reinforced as well.
That's one of the ways we saw our program spread in the first place. And it's not just parents talking to each other, it's teachers, it's school administrators talking to each other. They all see the benefit that having a program like ours in their school can create in the culture there. So one of the things we try to help schools do is promote a college-going culture in their school. Students that might not have seen themselves as college material, they opt to take one of our classes, and then all of a sudden they realize, hey, I can do this work, and then college becomes, it gets on their radar. So schools have reported back to us. Again, in the research that we do, we ask teachers and administrators how our program has helped them. Schools are reporting back that we've really helped them create a college-going culture in their high school, which we take a lot of pride in as well.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like something that people should at least explore if you're interested. And not everyone is interested in college, but a lot of people are. And if you're interested in pursuing a 4-year degree, this is something I think that people should look into. There are a lot of benefits. I can't think of a downside at all, Josh, but it sounds like there's a lot of benefits here. And I think people should certainly check it out and check out the accredited association as well. Can't get it out. Well, Josh, I'm going to leave it there. Really appreciate you coming on the program, sharing a little bit of your perspective on Project Advance. Great to see you as always, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest or someone you think we should talk to? Then drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information on retirement markets, technology, personal finance, so much more, all in one place, check out our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. So until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.